That's it now. Are you ready, mate?
Yep.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford and finally we're back on this week's episode. Should I say 5 or 6 days fucking too late, but I was in Portugal, absolutely rocking in a stag do, so now we're back. As I say, JP was for a long time since we've been on, about a week now, so a lot to cover. We'll try and get it in, hopefully about 45 minutes, we'll try and get a good episode for these boys and girls to get us in. But again, JP, we're now champions. It's been confirmed. Fucking get in there, shall I say, excuse my French. A long time coming. To actually hopefully talk about us being champions. We've been saying if and now I can say when, and it's happened. A long week, mate. Up to obviously during the week year to be crowned champions eventually. And I think I can speak for myself and a lot of fans and yourself, mate. It's a relief to finally get over the line and get our hands on that trophy.
Absolutely. Good evening, mate. You were rocking in a stag do, and I was rocking on a chair for other reasons. No, definitely. We're all buzzing. We've been talking about it for weeks. I know we've been saying if and whatnot, but we knew it was just if and when it was just going to be a formality, really, because there was no, let's face it, there was no way they were slipping up. And even for the split happened, they've still not lost a game. So, what was it we needed to lose? Was it 3? So, no. Wednesday night, mate, I thought Wednesday night was probably the most nervous I've seen the team look this season. I don't know why, but maybe it was just that raw emotion in the air, trying to get it out of the line to be crowned champions finally. And there's a lot of the guys on the team, Ryan, out with McGregor, Forrest, Bitton, your Tom Rogic, was it Scott Bain, Greg Taylor. There's a lot of the boys still in the team that this is their first title, mate. They've never experienced that last before. Okay, they won the League Cup was in December, but it's not the same as a league title. League Cup's different for a league title. League title means you're the best in the country. Also, this season, we've spoke highly and at great length because of this season. We've said this season was probably just as important as the 10 in a row. And realistically, it's like the 10 in a row, but the 10 in a row, this is 10 in a row with fans in the stadium, if you want to call it that. Unfortunately, we couldn't deliver that one last season in an empty stadium, but that's a different story altogether. But no, 10 titles out of 11 years, no bad, mate. Doesn't matter what league you play in, what opposition you play against, that's phenomenal. And it's remarkable. It's remarkable in different points all the way through it. Obviously, we'll get into that, but aye, superb to be crowned champions, and normal service has resumed, as I say.
Obviously the Hearts game, mate, you see an early goal and you're thinking, fucking hell, is this really going to happen to us? You know what I mean? Is this going to be the fucking done all the hard work all season? But I think we all kind of knew as soon as we get the first goal, it was just the goal for Hearts gave us a kick start, and then I don't think I really need to go through the game, mate, because the game, for me, the guys that turned up, like it says, your guys that turned up, your Jotas, if they all turned up, you're going to win the games. And guys like Jack and Marcus came on, scored again. The big man's turned out to be not a hero, but he's turned out to be a guy that you can call on now, the fans can trust. Start of the season when he came in, because he missed a penalty, not really me, no really us in the podcast, we were all very positive about the guy. As soon as he signed, and even when it happened, we were all very, he missed a penalty, but who doesn't miss penalties? We all miss penalties.
Yeah.
We've all missed penalties, I mean. And the guy gets slaughtered, and he's come back and went, you know what, I'm on a good player. And I think he's, for me, guys like him, he'll be a force next season when he gets a full season under his belt.
Yeah, absolutely. I listened to his presser today, Ryan, and you could hear him, he was kind of a wee bit annoyed with the fact that he said, every pre-season I pray that I'm at 100% health and I'm good to go for the season coming. unfortunately, last season, his move came at a later time, so he couldn't very well get a pre-season with us. And to be fair, mate, I mean, Ange was in pretty late as well, so it wasn't a proper pre-season. It was a kind of rushed training camp down south. Or was it Wales?
Wales, aye.
Wales. It was a kind of rushed training camp, and then you were right into games with teams like Charlton and Bristol City and Sheffield Wednesday, and so it was a kind of everything just. It just feels as if it's all flew in, but it was all just crammed in a quick succession. There was a very quick turnover. Obviously, the players that threw rattles at prams for last season out with Scott Brown, because Scott Brown was moving on for another challenge at the time. Like see Chris Ayers and Eddie and Ryan Christie. Maybe not so much Ryan, because Ryan, again, wanted a new challenge. He probably achieved what he wanted to achieve with Celtic in terms of honours and that. As I say, mate, there's only so many trebles you can win, and eventually you want a new challenge. Because then in Scotland, unfortunately, we're not blessed in a league that's got the Sky money in the EPL. And we're not blessed in a league that you're tested with, like, say, your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Tottenhams, your Chelseas, Arsenal. You've not got one of their teams coming to you every week, so a lot of these boys only can date for so long, and then they move elsewhere and they look for a new challenge. In terms of like Big Eddie and Big Ayer and stuff, you could tell for a wee while the rattle was at the pram of them, and they weren't performing at their best, and you could see that was becoming very deliberate, in my opinion. They were just hanging on, just in a hope that they would get that move, and eventually they did. But Ange came in, and you go back to the beginning of the season and all the dilly-dallying with the Eddie Howe thing, and then obviously Ange came in, and pretty quickly we understood that he was a man that wouldn't take any nonsense, and he wouldn't have unrest in the camp. And we've seen that right away. He brought a culture, the way he wanted it to go, and then he laid responsibility with Callum McGregor to police it himself, more or less, for the dressing room. And then started to sing guys like Joe Hart, James McCarthy, obviously relying on like Bitton and Rogic and Greg Taylor, who had been there for a few seasons, and big Chris Julian, obviously in the background as well. Again, had been there for a couple of years. So Ange's probably Scott Bain. I've heard Ange even saying that Scott Bain and these guys were allies to him right away as soon as he came in the door to help bring a camaraderie in that dressing room. And you can see it, Ryan, you can see it with the whole team. To bring a team together so quickly over 2 transfer windows, have them gel, but not only have them gel, have them perform at the levels they've performed at this season. It's just nothing short of a miracle, mate.
Aye, mate, people might think that I'm talking one lot of shit here, right? But could guys like Guardiola, Klopp, Mourinho do all that without with our budget? Could they do that? I don't know. Could they do it? They might be able to
possibly. Guardiola.
I'm gonna.
It's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? Because of the teams he's inherited.
Because of these guys have always worked with money.
Yeah.
Guardiola went to Barcelona. I'm not going to say that I can manage Barcelona because I can't, but they guys who play Barcelona don't really need coached. Do you know what I mean? They guys are naturally gifted, exceptional players. They might need tactics and tweaks, etc. But you really just need to say to these guys, listen, go and win the game. You're fucking good enough. Maybe it's Celtic, you can maybe say, I go and win the game, but you do need to do more. Obviously, I'm just talking about my arse when it comes to it's not just turning up and playing football, but
no.
What Ange's done, I'm not saying, I still believe Eddie Howe would have been successful. What he's done with Newcastle with no mega money as yet, he transformed Newcastle just about nearly a top 10 team within 6 months, if that.
Yeah.
I think Eddie would have been successful. But for me, what Ange's done, mate, I don't think it's getting spoken about highly enough.
No.
He came into an absolute, excuse my French, a fucking shit show. A shit show. It was in disarray, the board was in disarray, the fans were in disarray, nobody was, it was just a pure circus of emotion, nobody moved on. Guys that want to leave, who are we going to bring in, guys are injured, Rangers are fucking, they've got a bit of money through obviously the league, and it was Rangers going to have the easiest title they're going to have next year, and then you look at where we've went now, and now because the Rangers are in a big final, it's all forgotten about. I'm going to see if they go and win this, right? I'm not going to be sick, but I'm up because it's going to derail what we've done, and it will. It's going to be all the press that they've done, and it's going to be the biggest achievement fucking since sliced bread. And no Celtic fan, no Scottish fan can say if they win it, it's an unbelievable achievement, right? Give or take, I'm a Celtic fan, but if they win it, I'm going to be sick because it's going to derail what we've done, because it probably was a big achievement to win a big European final, to win a Scottish friendly, but to me, us win the league this year was massive. We had to do it. And if they go and win that, you're kind of like, we won the league to get this fucking money and the title, and they're going to get it for winning a trophy. You're like, fuck. But on our sense, what Ange's done, mate, I don't think it's going. I know we get manager of the year and all that, but I don't think it's getting talked about exactly what that guy came into. He came into no backroom staff, basically. It was lying there for him.
Yeah.
And he had to come in and see everything himself before they decided what he wanted to do and who had to, like he says, guys like Scott Bay and Taylor, he doesn't know who these guys are. He's just come in hoping they're going to do my job. Like Ralston, let's be fair, we all know about Ralston. He gave Ralston a chance, hoping he would do well, hoping he would do something from, because we were struggling for right back.
Yeah.
He gave Griffiths a deal because they were hoping maybe he would become better, he would become fitter, and it didn't happen. It was all about hoping. The first 6 games, you're like, fucking hell, we've lost 3 games here, man. What's going to happen to us? And the more you hear about them talking and about the players talking, it was all right, we need to calm down. It's going to happen. We just need to relax, believe in what I want, and if you believe in me, I'll believe in you, and the players will believe in me. And by fucks, mate, the players are a unit now. They're a family, you can tell. They're all out socialising. And people say that didn't matter. Last year, these players couldn't socialise. So, of course it's going to affect them on the part, because they don't know each other. But now these guys are with each other every single day in training. They were only training with each other and then getting home. They were only in training, having coffee, or in the pool with each other. They were only in the gym with each other. It was just, another shot. But what this guy's done, mate, I take my hat off to the guy, mate, and I can still say thank you, because he's brought our club back for fucking this. The word legend gets thrown about too much, but he's by fuck, Barry. I'm not going to say he's a legend, but by fuck, he's put himself on a big pedestal. And a lot of fans will say, Ryan, why are you saying this? He's only just came to the club. But this guy's opened a big can of worms for himself for the world of clubs now. People are going to be going to Celtic now. Next year, they're going to be going, right, if fans does well with Celtic next year, can we get him? Can we get him to our club? I don't want that, but that's just, people need to realise, when somebody does well at a club, players, physio, manager, they're going to get looked at. And I said when Celtic beat Ibrox, when Celtic beat Rangers at Ibrox, that was when I thought, that's Ange opened himself now. People know who he is now. Know it, and let's be fair, mate, me and you know, the world of scouting, the football and manager, people know who Ange is. We didn't, because we are in the world. But people know who Ange was. You've seen people writing now, we told you so. We told you so, he was good. We told you he would make you champions. But he's opened, for me, mate, Celtic is a big oyster now under Ange. Hopefully they don't fucking win that competition, right? We're going to have a lot of money. We're going to have a lot of bragging rights. We're going to have everything. To be fair, give or take, even if they do win that on our side, we've still got a lot going for us. We're the champions. you've got the money bank, you've got a transfer kit you're going to have a lot more eyes on you to come and play for you under the manager, the fans. It's a lot to look forward to, and what that guy's done, JP, I know you'll have a lot to say about him. It's no short of a dream for the start of the season. Some pundits were saying we might not even finish second. Joe Hart was finished. League One, Matt O'Reilly. Who? Matt who? Oh, he didn't get rid of McGree. Oh, who's Matt O'Reilly? Do you know what I mean?
Riley McGree didn't want to come to your tin pot league, your tin pot team or whatever it was at the time.
Joe Hart was finished. Celtic money finished second. Ange's no got a clue. Just so many things, and I'm so glad that Alexa, like Alex Ray says, get the disco lights on, because the disco lights are going to be rocking on Saturday.
Absolutely, mate. We'll go back to the start of what you said there about the them in the big final. I think it's more important, Ryan, that we don't look at the garden fence at other gardens, mate. We concentrate on what's happening in ours. Yep. They seem to have this obsession. Well, they have done for they formed in 2012 when they went away down to the third division and had to start again. They've been obsessed with everything that we were doing fair way back then. Project and the memo and every mission statement probably on hand was to catch us and compete with us again. Now, the total disregard for all the other clubs when about Celtic has been there and clear as day to see. And last season, they won the league with 25 points. But they won a league. I don't want to start, like I say, Ryan, I'm sitting here talking about them. They're professional footballers. I don't want to start giving people stick and calling people anything, because they're doing it today and I'm doing what I do, and it's certainly night and day between each other. Do you know what I mean? I'm sitting here talking about them and they're out there doing it. So I'm not going to do that. So, but they won the league last season because we were in dire straits. Something happened last season with us. It just was totally unseen and unheard of. A total enigma. Everything that could have went wrong for us last season did go wrong for us. I didn't think they were that good. We made them look good because of how bad we were. All right, they went last season unbeaten. Fine. That's testament to their hard work and whatever there was they done at the time. Fine. But as soon as Celtic got a decent, no, I'm not even going to say decent, I'm going to put them in the bracket of elite. Celtic got themselves an elite manager and coach. And he's had to come in and rebuild a whole team. And he's not even finished, because this season was only phase one of what he was wanting to do. And he's even said it himself. He's kept on the coaches that were there last season, who were also taking loads and loads of stick. The same people who were giving them that stick, I have not seen one person come forward and just hold their hands up, because these guys have been a big part of that this season as well. It's not just about Ange, and Ange has made clear it's not just about him. I think he walked away with, was it 6 or 7 Manager of the Month awards throughout the season as well as 2 Manager of the Year awards. And every photo shoot he got taking that award, it was all different people for his background team that he took with him to make sure they weren't being left out. I think the one I found hilarious was the one with Gavin Strachan, because he was away, I don't know if he was on a scouting mission, or he was away doing something for the club. And he got Manager of the Month again for the next one. And because everybody else had been in a photo with Ange just took Gavin himself, and it was just Ange and Gavin standing together. And I think there was a wee caption underneath, "We don't leave anyone out," or something like that. And I found that quite funny. And a nice touch, obviously, for Gavin. But it's been absolutely, like I say, it's been a miracle, mate. I would say to sum up Angie's first season as Celtic manager, I'm going to go as far as to say it was better than Wim Jansen, mate. And Wim Jansen stopped 10 in a row. Now, Angie's come in, mate, and right now we sit 4 points top the league. That's a 29-point deficit swing in our favour, mate, that he's overturned. Now, bearing in mind at Christmas, Ryan, we were 6 points behind. We went into the break, and I know I've seen a couple of comments today about it's the only league I know it stops the league for you just so you can get your recruitment done early and this, that, and it's nonsense, absolute nonsense. Bearing in mind the rest of the league took a vote on this as well. When it got to Christmas and again, it was to be that there wasn't crowds getting into the games again, remember? And obviously, and we goes up to Perth on Boxing Day. There's nobody else, hardly nobody in the stadium. So Ange was pretty adamant that, you know, he didn't want that because Celtic are synonymous with playing in front of their crowds and having that rapport with their crowds. And that's been a vital part of it as well, Ryan. He's brought us back to them. He's brought us together in one big sort of unity, one big sort of team. Now, I can't remember previous seasons, even under Brendan Rodgers, I don't remember it. I can't remember going to games as excited as what I have done under Ange this season, right? He's brought that butterfly in your belly type feeling again. You just don't know what's going to happen with this team. They're so exciting to watch. The tactics, everything that they play, the way they play, the intensity, they play the tempo. And it's not only that, he's developed, I think he's made Callum McGregor a better footballer, right? I really, really do, mate. I think Callum McGregor's took his game to a new height, as well as Greg Taylor and Tony Ralston and even probably Joe Hart, because Guardiola got rid of Joe Hart because he couldn't play out for the back. Well, he's done it all season for us. And that's the thing as well. Guys like Starfelt, they've took stick for the beginning of the season, even with our support. And guys saying he's rotten, why is he playing? Greg Taylor's man, he shouldn't be playing. Tony Ralston's no up to it, he shouldn't be playing. We need better players to play Andrew's way. Utter nonsense. They've just proven this season. They've only conceded 22 goals all season in the league. They've went 31 games unbeaten in the league. I don't know what other league that holds a record like that, but that is absolutely frightening, man. And it's all down to him. It's all down to the belief that he's gave them. It's all down to the freedom he's gave them. I mean, you've heard Ange say as well, look, I don't get into the dressing room a lot. I let them police the dressing room themselves, or Callum, or certain members of the senior members of the squad, men experienced. He says, I'll go in when I know they're maybe needing, I think they're maybe needing a wee pep talk or whatever he says, but they know that they know for training what I demand for them. They know what the demands are. And obviously Ange will probably delegate that through like say John Kennedy, Steve McManus, Gavin Strachan. They're in the dressing room talking to them. So I would imagine, but we've seen these snippets of videos and Callum McGregor's talking to them, and you see that in the huddle as well, and you also see it in the warm-ups when they're out warming up, because they actually warm up just in front of me and at the North Stand, lower. And most of their home games, that's where they warm up. And you can see McGregor pointing and talking to all the players. He goes run them all one by one, telling them what he expects. So it's just been absolutely phenomenal, mate, and it's been totally breathtaking at times to watch. You can look at individual games and results, but as a whole, all the players that he's brought in have all taken to what he wants to do, and every one of them. I'm not even going to, it's not down to his ability, it's just down to the sheer timing of his injury. And then when he came back from injury, the team were playing that well. He's just going to, he'd a Gucci. But listen to Angie's press of the day, mate, he's going to be a big part in next season. So, and the way Ange wants to, the way he's going to play. And also, Ange was asked today about, I thought it was very interesting. I don't know if you've seen his presser today, right? But he was asked today about Bitton and Rogic being replaced by, what they look to be replaced early with O'Reilly and, like Saida Gucci. And Ange says, well, that was part of the thinking. He says, but that is an area on the pitch that I still think we need quality. That was interesting. And then he also then says about Maeda. Maeda's deal to his loan deal was just a technicality, obviously, just to get him here. And then obviously part of that deal was to then make it permanently. I don't know what you would call that in a contract term, but making it permanently. And he mentioned it's a 4-year deal. So again, but the business he does, Ryan, I think that's key with him as well. His recruitment's spot on. The players he brings in are no players that were, like, say, your Klamalas, who are coming in to develop and we're not going to see them for 6-7 months. They'll maybe get 20 minutes here and then a big bio. You're going to spending 2 or 3 million quid on these guys and they're just no quite at the level. Then they go away and they train and they try and get to that level, and then it turns out the team are going somewhere else and they can't get to that level. These guys are, the guys he's recruiting are guys to play the system first and foremost, which is key. And then after that, it's to fit into the way he wants to play. So it's guys to play the new rather than playing in 6-7 months' time down the line.
Aye, that's what we were obviously critical last year, mate. And we've mentioned on the podcast quite a times that for years gone by, we're buying guys what I would call project signings.
Yeah, that's what, you know, that's the word I was looking for there and I couldn't get it out.
You don't pay $3.5 million, for my opinion, $3.5 million for Celtic is not a project player. You've got to pay somebody that's going to come in and do the job.
Well, they paid that for Abada.
Aye, Abada's come in, Kyogo come in. He's getting guys that are going to come in and play. Aye, you need every squad needs squad players who might not be fantastic, but are going to come in and do a job for you.
Yeah.
And that leads on to obviously James Forrest get a new deal. It's a hot topic of the, obviously after the match. We've won the league and then the next day is, why are you doing this days now? Forrest a new deal.
You know what you making predictions now. You've done that with Greg Taylor this season. He's turned into Roberto Carlos. I've some fans are, as I say, I love football because we've all got opinions about players and nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's your opinion and what you think. On obviously Taylor, I think he's done well the last bit of the season, the last 6 months. I still don't think he's going to be Celtic's left back. Again, I'm on the manager. I still feel if we're going to be going to try and compete in Europe, we need somebody better technically, and I just like all round need a better left back. No saying the guys are good enough maybe to play in the SPL. I think he's fine, but I think going forward, if we want to be what Mr. Lawwell used to say, a Champions League club, I think we need to buy better quality, but that's just my opinion. On James Forrest, I feel it's a backward step in my opinion. His last 2 years does not deserve a new contract. He's not done enough for me the last 2 years. For me, you get new deals not on sentimental reasons. It's not on what you've done in the past. Similar to when Rogic came in, he said about Lee Griffiths, I think he got 40 goals a year before. He went, but that was last year. This is new. Basically saying, fuck we done last year. I wasn't here last year. They're new. And he didn't really, he played under Dodgers, but it just shows you that you managers all think different things. Me personally, James Forrest is a squad player. Fine. But I don't think James Forrest is going to be the James Forrest itself. It's going to, again, we can all be proved wrong, but I can only talk on what I feel now and what I've seen for James Forrest the last 2 years. Yeah.
I don't want to be, how would I say it? I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend James. He's been a superb step to Celtic. He's been so experienced. He's won so many titles. He's been to play at Celtic for this long at that level. You've got to have ability. You've got to have a mental strength. You've got to have everything to be at this level. But I think he's finished to playing every week at Celtic at the capacity that I just want to play at. You can see the eyes.
Yeah.
He said 3 games he's been sharp. But because you've had cameo games where you've been sharp, for me, does not mean that that's your back playing with Celtic again. you've got to be at a consistent level. Similar to with Greg Taylor, because he's played well for 6 months, does mean that for me that he's going to be, wow, that's him back to being top class now. Greg Taylor's never, in my opinion, never going to be. He's just going to be a steady Eddie, 7 out of 10 every week. Does a job, but for me, Celtic, am I wanting that? Maybe I'm wanting too much. But I'm wanting my full-backs to be flying up and down, getting the balls in. I'm wanting a Celtic left back, and I just don't see that with Taylor. He's done well.
He's turning into it, right? His energy levels is unbelievable, mate.
As I say, he's won the league title, mate. He's won the league title, so I cannot criticise the guy. I can't criticise any player because they've won his league title. So, it's my opinion, it really does mean shite because they've won the league title. But again,
just on that note, Greg, if you're listening in, mate, I want you on here. Come on, have a chat with us. Bring your league medal and show him.
And tell me to fuck off, Greg. But listen, it's football, I mean, all the opinions. On James Forrest, I think, Greg, you've had it all season now for me, so I'm giving you a buy now. But on James Forrest, JP, I know it's a big topic. I've seen some people saying stupid stuff on social media. I tend to think that I'm very behind me now. I tend to tweet. I think before I tweet now. I think some people don't. I think some people just heat of the moment. No player that plays with Celtic, no matter how shite you are or what you've done at Celtic, does not deserve abuse. And some of the abuse he's had, fucking uncalled for.
Did you say social media?
Aye.
I thought you were talking about our group chat every time we concede a goal.
For me, James Forrest has been a fantastic servant, but to give him a new deal, I understand we all need squad players, and I understand that he could do a job maybe in the SPL still, or he could still do a job Europe, maybe he's a bit part player. And I know we all need squad players, but I just feel that why give a guy a new deal where you can, in my opinion, I know some guys are group chat and some guys will probably say, but can you buy his experience and buy his quality? You can buy his quality better than James Forrest out there, 100%. There's far better players than James Forrest out there than for, in my opinion, that we can buy in for no that much money. If you do your scouting properly, if you do your recruitment, like Ange's done, you take the time, there's no a guy out in Australia and Japan that's no better than James Forrest. Guarantee there is. James Forrest. But again, I understand why they've given it, because it's his experience. He's a Celtic man. He has done well in the past. But I believe again, somebody that's done in the past on sentimental reasons, or what they've done in the past, it's what they're going to do potentially. And you give contracts on ability, yes, but potential. Do they deserve a contract? Does Forrest deserve one for me on his ability and performance the last 2 years? No, that's my opinion, JP.
That's how Greg Taylor got a new 5-year deal.
And I'm still saying,
big hands now. This podcast is running.
And I still say that Greg Taylor's deal, I still don't agree with either. I didn't agree with it at the time. I still don't agree with it, but he's won the league title for us. I can't complain. But on Forrest's new deal, JP, you're like, we're trying to go forward again, and again, a guy who's been there for years. Like Scott Brown, for me, as much as I loved Scott Brown and I wanted Scott Brown to stay, when you look back, he got a year too much. He got a new deal too much over by thinking his performance, and Neil Lennon didn't use him properly. Neil Lennon should have used him a game at a time. And
I think the important part of James Forrest, Brian, his new deal, is obviously, I think that a lot of us seem to, it's all right us having opinions and stuff, but I think Ange has the benefit of seeing James every day in training, mate. Now, okay, that's easy to say what you do in training is different from what you do in the park. I personally, this is just my view, think this season's been a total write-off for a wee man, to be honest with you, because I think his injuries hampered him really badly. He came back, he got a setback, he came back again, he came back too early, he had to walk off the park again, his muscle went again. So there was just something, and I think a bit of it could have been done to psychologically. He just couldn't get by that. But the other last couple of times I've seen James play, Brian, and this is just my opinion again, mate, I think he's looked more assured and far better out on the left than what he would do on the right, coming in off the left. Now, James is obviously, he's one of the players, mate, that he's adaptable in his style because, and by the way, there's not a lot of players like that, right? There's not a lot of guys that can change adapt their style just in a moment in a game to suit what was going on round about, whether you want to play just a lay-off or you just want to play. James is so good at this. He plays the ball outside his boot. And he kind of puts me in mind of Modric, the way he just gets enough bend on, like the curl of it. Sometimes it maybe goes too far or it doesn't go, but when he hits it right, mate. I thought last night he was superb. His link up with Taylor was absolutely spot on. No, last night, sorry, Wednesday night. I thought some of his iron needle passes through the gap to Taylor's overlap. Forrest then was overlapping with Taylor. The reading of the game with the two of them worked really well. I thought we got a lot of joy down that side. He was really unlucky. It was just Giakoumakis put too much on that pass. He could have got Sale a goal. I think if he would have made any contact with that, that was a goal. I don't think Seagrass saves that one across the box. Again, I thought he showed great pace to get to that position in the first place. He had to run from behind the boy to get him there. The length of contract is slightly surprised me. Again, because his contribution in the last couple of years. But then every one of them last season, right? Even Callum McGregor, for whatever reason, just if you'd gone with that logic, then Callum McGregor was found wanting last season as well, mate. Do you know what I mean? And he's probably
you own his contract. I know it's. Is it an extra 3 years, or is it just an extra year on his 2 years?
No, I think it's 3 year in total, isn't it? So it's like his contract would run out now on the beginning of the 2026 season.
So his contract was out next year?
I think so. I think he had a year on his deal when he signed it's either an extra, it might be 2. I think it's an extra 2 year on top of the deal he's had. So he had an extra season, which would have took him into next season. And at the end of next season, his contract was up. Right. So this deal runs out to the season that you begin into the summer, the season of 2026, right. 27 sort of thing. But James, his years of service, and he's scored a lot of right important goals for us, right? He's a big game player. He's proved that in the past. And I know people say you don't want to go in the past, you want to go over there. But an important one as well for me, Ryan, is see if you look around the world, mate, all the best teams dare us. Now, you could look at Real Madrid. They kept Ramos. Puyol done it with Barcelona. Big Busquets is doing it now with Barcelona. You look at Bayern Munich, they had Philip Lahm and like Matthias and all the quality sides all around the world there, that's right. They always keep a wee bunch of the old teach when they're getting into a new era. Why? Because it becomes an easier transition when you're trying to settle a new face. And that's also going to be a big help to Callum, Brian. With the whole transitional period of bringing in like a new face to meeting the old faces. So that it's not like you've just brought Kyogo in, then you're signing another guy, but Kyogo's only been here for a season, so he doesn't really know Glasgow that well. He probably doesn't know where a lot of places are still yet. But whereas James he's been here for he was 9-year-old, right? So, like, but I think personally, this is just my opinion, mate. I don't think he'll be a number one starter. I hope I proves me wrong, by the way, because I've always thought James Forrest was quality. I always have. Even when he was at the peak of his powers, he was unplayable at times. So I really hope I really want to be proved wrong. I'm not surprised he's kept him, right? I'm surprised of the longevity with the contract he's been given. But again, part of Andy's pressure today was down to the fact that, and Andy says it, he gets to see him every day in training. So he sees what he's capable and he sees the work he's putting in and the dedication he shows to the team. And he probably oozes what we're about in terms of, you've seen him in that video, Hatate gets man of the match and he's sitting on the bench and he's the one that's saying to Hatate, by the way, you get man of the match here. Just read off things like that, man. I mean, it doesn't need to be... See, the form lads, they pick up on things like that, man, very quickly. You ask any one of the form boys like Bitton and boys that are leaving or boys that have already left, who helps you settle quickly? Now, I've heard a lot of them say, Bruni. Just for the way he is. I've even heard some of the boys now saying McGregor. Like, I remember Joe Hart's interview, he done a podcast a while ago and he was talking to the boy, I can't remember the name of the podcast now, and he asked him about this, how did, like, you look as if you've settled in really well, as if you've never been away from the place, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, I had a big help man when I arrived and that was Callum McGregor. So it's kind of, that side of things is important. As much as we look at, oh, he's not done it as a footballer, blah, blah, blah. We don't know, we don't really think about all that other behind the scenes side of the thing, mate. And that was another factor of probably the Scott Bain deal, I know, because of how they are in the dressing room. And again, mate, that's important. It's not just about, oh, he's not going to play every week, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we heard today Jota saying McCarthy's the funniest in the dressing room. You would never think that, looking at James McCarthy and hear the way he talks. But yet Jota says that in that wee training drill we do, he does with Matt O'Reilly and the two lassies. And he was asked about the camaraderie in the dressing room, and Jota says that McCarthy's the most hilarious guy he's ever came across. And see just the wee touching moments, mate, they make all the difference, right? Especially in the dressing room, mate.
Big time, mate. I do agree with, well, I can take what you're saying before this, mate, 100%. He's obviously getting him a contract through, obviously, experience in the dressing room. Obviously, he rates him, you know what I mean? So, again, obviously, McCarthy as well. I've heard through the, how do you call it, the grapevine that Ange actually rates McCarthy a lot, but he just can't get him on the team. He just can't.
Same as he'd have got to.
No, generally, I've heard through sources that Ange likes McCarthy, but he just can't get him in because the team's playing so well. He just can't get him in. But he rates him. I suppose we must rate him a 4-year deal. Do you know what I mean? So,
but how quickly are we to sit and judge and go, he must be rotten, he's not playing? You don't see what happens at Lennoxtown on a Monday to Friday, right?
Like I says, mate, we played football and all, and you speak to people like William and guys, or you start to know when you do things like this, you know, you're playing football, you know that things impact your life when you go in the park, etc., etc. And I know that guys like Scott Bain and Forrest, they might bring things in that side of it, which we don't see, and I understand that. But for me as a fan, you start to realise all that, but I'm totally on. For me as a manager anyway, I take all that in, but I want to give contracts out to guys today in the park. I know that's a big, massive thing inside the dressing room and but I'm paying guys £20 a week to do it on the park. And if James Forrest isn't on the park, or if it's Taylor, Johnson, whoever it is getting a new deal, if I do it on the park, I don't think she get a new deal. That's just my opinion. Says McCarthy's not kicked the ball. Ange might rate him and we're saying he's not playing. So see if he gets released in the season, would I be like, no, I'm like, well, he's not really played, so I can understand that. Even though I'm like, I should maybe keep him. But then if I'm saying keep McCarthy but not give Forrest a new deal, I'm kind of getting back in my own thing here, do you know what I mean? So if McCarthy was to get released, I would, you know what, he's not played, didn't really get a chance, but maybe Ange said, right, so I've got to trust the manager.
Yeah.
But for my thing, the James Forrest thing it's going to be it's going to be a to and fro. It's the guy is like Marmite to some of the fans. Some fans don't like him. No, personally, as a player, and some fans should just love him. That's just the way Forrest is. I've never been his biggest fan. I've always thought his ability, but I've just always thought he fought to deceive. 1 minute I'm like, go date then. But the biggest thing for me, JP with James Forrest is I'm not going to. I'm going to call him. I think he's a shite bag. I do. On tackles, I think he does not do enough. He does not. I think he pulls away. I think he pulls away for tackles. Maybe that's psychological injury. I don't know. But for me, as a player, I want my guys to be fucking. I want my players to be up for a tackle.
Yeah.
Maybe the only criticism for James Forrest that he does do enough in that department. But maybe that's because he's injury or snap had injuries before. I know that can play a part of you, but at that level, I don't think it can sink in because you can't be a passenger. You can't shout out tackles. My dad done it at Celtic Park with Rangers with a heater, shot it. I'm like, yeah, fucking through it. Why you've got these putting that on it? It's like getting a ball. Look at him. You know what I mean? But again, mate, I think it's always going to be a topic for us with Celtic fans until the day they leave Celtic. It's going to be a topic. Obviously, the big topics today is obviously Bitton and Rogic leaving. For me, it's quite a sad day for me, JP. Obviously, the last few days we've seen Bitton, maybe it was going to happen.
Yeah.
We only seen Rogic's Instagram post last night, and you're thinking, right, this is a.
Well, you sort of picked up on it right away. I hadn't seen anything until you brought my attention to it.
It's a bit of cheerio, I think, here. Celtic offer them new deals and they want to go elsewhere. Maybe, I know Bitton's having a new kid, his girlfriend or wife. Rogic's maybe just homesick, wants a new challenge. But like you say, you've got a Riley to come in and guys like to come in and cover. But for me, Rogic gave me one of the biggest days in my life, happiest feelings in my life with that goal with the treble. I'll never ever live that down to the day I die, mate. That was one of the best feelings in my life. And I can only say thanks, Rogic, because that was the start of the Celtic that we know now, obviously for taking away last year, but that was the start of Celtic coming to how you got under Rodgers, the attacking football.
Yes.
Started the trebles.
We won a quadruple treble after that, Ryan. You know, so that started it all.
So many goals against Rangers and even Big Bitton, by grade 7. I think underrated sometimes because he's had a few red cards, etc. Scapegoat last year playing at the back. But the guys go with my best wishes because they've been fantastic since for Celtic. They've earned their right to go and go away with their best wishes.
Yes.
They've earned the right to go. Do you know what, guys? No animosity. Good luck for the rest of the career, and hopefully we see you back at Celtic and as a fan or a capacity or just in the run. I hope we
absolutely.
And hopefully Saturday. I don't know if Bitton will play. I don't know if he'll play, but when it sounds like
he's injured, Ryan.
Is he?
I think so. Well, I found it strange, Ryan, how he wasn't part of the squad at all on Wednesday night, and he wasn't even there. He wasn't part of their celebrations or anything. I
just hope that Rogic plays. There might be a wee tear in some fans' eyes because the guy brought some good memories to us. He's
absolutely
won so many trophies. Talk about experience and non-Celtic. A few fans were very iffy about him as well at the start.
Yeah.
The guy for me is technically unbelievable. I've always said that if he had a bit more pace when he beat Celtic, the guy's quality. He's everything Walker to. I'm not going to say he's played for fucking Barcelona, but he's got the quality.
I know what you mean.
He's got quality to go and step up a gear, even the new probably.
If Big Wanyama can go and play with Tottenham and stuff like that, then there's no doubt in my mind Rogic can do similar.
Bitton's I would maybe class him as an Andy Hinkle, 7, 8 out of 10 every week. Steady. Yeah. Obviously last year JP was a scapegoat, we all know that, playing at the back. Anne's put in the midfield this year and he's a calmness to the team. He's done very well when he's come in and played. We'll go to Big Julian the last bit of the pod, but I think they two, mate, deserve everything they get in their life because they've brought me and you and other fans so many memories and it's been a joy to watch.
Absolutely, mate. The two of them, to be there for the best part of the last decade, the two of them, that's very unheard of, Ryan, in terms of foreign players.
Especially at that level.
Yes, and I was just about to say there's only one or two that I can think of fan that were there for a long time, which was Larsson and Lustig, obviously the two countrymen, obviously the Swedish, but out with that, and I can't think for the life of me any foreign players that have came inside for that long. That is phenomenal to do what they've done. And as you say, to keep churning it season after season after season, playing in Champions League, Europa League, going and playing international, coming back, playing against. So it's been absolutely frightening. Obviously Neil Lennon signed both of them when he was the first time round as manager. Couldn't believe he loaned Rogic out back to Melbourne City, remember? I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my goodness. Because any time he played, when he came on as a sub and stuff, and it was phenomenal. We actually nearly sold him.
Aye.
For $4 million. That would have been craziness.
But it was crazy, see, at the time. Sorry. At the time, you're thinking, you know, that's a decent deal because he's not really played much. Well, he didn't play well. But fuck me, this year, mate, unbelievable.
No, definitely. But again, Ryan, you don't know what went on behind the scenes. In my opinion, I think he got Lindy Ann's coming.
Aye.
He told Australia he wasn't going with him in the summer, last summer, and he stayed and he got himself fit, sharp, ready for Ann's coming in and made sure he was ready to go when the time came. And he was just coming back for an injury knock as well, and he just right for the half. He looked sharp, he looked ready, he looked bang on it, and he scored some right good goals this season. His goal at Tannadice was just phenomenal. Again, it just epitomises what he's about, and he scored a good goal at Ibrox for us and all. That's no easy to take on a sort of mid-flight sort of ball off the deck, half volley, to keep it down enough to put it into the net. A lot of people could have put it by the post, the other bar, pull it up for Hull instead of hitting the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? So, and Big Bitton the same. Last time we made the Champions League, he was at centre back. Mm-hmm. Last time we got to the group stages of the Champions League, he was at centre back. We were so close to beating a Bayern Munich team with him at centre half with Dedrick Boyata that night as well. Actually, we get caught underneath the ball and off for their runner. The big boy Martinez got up for a header. Like, oh man, I was raging that night because we were so close. Forrest was outstanding that night. He was a dream. David Alaba was shouting for his mummy after 25 minutes, man. A wee man took him to the cleaners. And when you look at that and you see the teams that, you know, we've played in Europe and stuff, Rogic was instrumental. He was outstanding in a 3-each game against Man City at Celtic Park that night as well. He was awesome. What a pass that was to Kieran Tierney for Tierney's goal. And as you say, that goal to clarify his invincible treble winners was just, definitely that's. There was a stroke of lightning. I don't know if you remember it, Ryan. There was when he scored, we got Hamden that day.
No, was it the game, mate? No.
Near was I was in the house. And when he got the ball, it was a boy O'Connor. Remember the boy that was in loan to Aberdeen? They'd brought him on to try and keep Rogic quiet. And he done good at that. So when Armstrong gives him the ball and he runs by O'Connor, and I'm in the house, and by this point you're a bit nervy because obviously that was the first point of that season. I thought, this could blow up in the face here. Do you know what I mean? When Aberdeen scored fast, and then momentarily we were under pressure in that game, mate. And then obviously Stuart Armstrong scores right away, but the game just sort of died a death. We had a few chances in the second half, but the game just sort of died a death for a long period. And obviously Tierney getting his injury as well, and I thought, oh, this is going to be one of these days. It's going to blow back in my face. And then Rogic, did he come on as a sub back day? He did, didn't he?
I think he did, mate, aye.
Aye. Came off the bench. And when he gets the ball and he goes by a corner, I'm in the house and I'm stunning up at this point because the game's at nearly death for the game, and I thought, I don't want this going to extra time, man. You just become a bag of nerves because you're so close to winning a treble again since the first time for Anil.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And you're wanting obviously everything to go well for you, and obviously Paddy Roberts hits the post with that line of curls, and I think Griffiths had a half chance and all where he hits it in a bar and you're just, it's not just going to happen for us today at all, man. And then obviously he goes by O'Connor and just see, I remember watching it, right, and it was like watching the very beginning of The Matrix, mate, when Trinity jumps and stops in mid-air. That's what time done for me that day. It just sort of went, and I just seen Rogic running in slow motion, and it was a mental feeling, mate. And as you say, it was a total euphoria that came with it, mate. And then he goes by Considine and the box, and you're just like, square it, because Roberts was standing in acres of room, and I'm like, square it. And then he hits it with his right foot. I've all fixed to, I think that's 2 goals that season he scored with his right peg. The one at Fir Park, when we won 4-3.
Aye.
We were getting beat 2-0 and all that day. And then obviously that one. Now at the beginning I thought he dinked Joe Lewis. Obviously he doesn't. He sort of the way he hits it by Joe Lewis into the net. If you look at it back. But my mate takes a big, me and my mate were in this house. And my mate just takes a big runny. My missus wasn't in. I think she was away on holiday with pals and whatever else, or whatever was happening that day. And he just takes a big runny and just leaps right on top of me, and I missed the replay of the goal. But all you see is I'm just in among the Celtic fans, and it was just, oh, what a feeling. But mate, that'll live with me the rest of my days, I swear to God, as you said. And Bitton, he scored a cracking goal that night. I was on holiday under Delia. He put his 2 up.
That Kilmarnock?
No. He put his 2 up against Malmo.
That was Rogic as well.
That was a heater.
Rogic, Kilmarnock, I know.
Aye, he scored a beauty, that's right. Aye. I actually thought Beaton's best season was under Delia Ryan. I thought that was his best season. He scored a fair few goals that season as well. And just the football he played, he was up for Player of the Year. And I thought when Rogers came in, he sort of turned him into a centre back. And I don't know, he looked like he was short or something. Don't get me wrong, I mean, he was a 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 every game. Do you know what I mean? He was always a steady guy all the time. He never put in a bad performance. But it was always at the moment that he would do something and rush a blood to the head or whatever it would be, get himself sent half. Or, I don't want to say liability, that's a bit harsh, but he was always, there was a slight mistake in something he would do, or he just wasn't quite assured at centre half as much as he was in the number 6 role, mate. And then the best I've seen him under Ange was that night away to Leverkusen. You were obviously earlier, mate. I thought he was like Busquets that night, mate. I thought he controlled the game. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. And then they got back into the game because he took him off.
Right. But even after me, I thought Leverkusen that night get back into it. Obviously, Ange made something at the wrong time, but I made it 2 absolute unbelievable servants to the club, and well in their future. The future roles, obviously Scott Brown. We'll talk about maybe Scott Brown in a while.
If you want, lads, if he's listening again, don't be hesitant. Come on, have a chat with us. We'll even come to the airport with you when you're in the departure lounge, and we could do the podcast there.
Obviously, we'll talk about Scott Brown a few more podcast time, but obviously Scott Brown get his management role again. Good luck to Booney.
Yes.
But obviously the last bit, Big Julian, maybe a
Big Jules.
Maybe a bit of controversial. The article today came out today and basically says that obviously I'm fully fit. Really frustrated that I've not been able to get minutes. I think we all know through the grapevine what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think some fans need to be realistic here. And players are allowed to come out frustrated. Players are allowed to do interviews about no players can. If players aren't happy, if they want to do interviews, then let them do it.
No, absolutely. But I was just about to say, obviously, I'll let you finish on you go.
I think the way it's kind of about, obviously, maybe she'll left at the end of the season. these things you don't want coming out in public. You don't want interviews coming out in public when obviously the season's going on, and obviously it's obviously again, this could be mistranslated. I don't know. I've only read the article. I guarantee it's not been given public by Celtic today. He's done it if he's back. Probably somebody's approached him. Just on what he's saying, I'm a big believer. If you're frustrated with a player, you should be allowed to say what you need to say.
Yeah.
I still believe Julian's a cracking centre back. Should he be playing on what's been happening? No, because I felt like Vickers have been, how do I say it, using a big word, astronomical. They've been amazing. They've been fucking unbelievable. They've not lost a game as a partnership. So, in that sense, he can't really complain. He can't complain. He's been fully fit, yes, and I still think he's a quality centre back. But you can't drop guys who have been playing, who have been playing very well and winning games. But the fact that he's not been getting the match squads, for me, I can give him that, because as much as Stephen Welsh, I think, has done well for Celtic recently, Christopher Julian should be an automatic pick on the bench if he's fully fit, in my opinion. He should be in the match day squads. There's obviously something going on behind the scenes where him and Ange they fancy him, or something must be happening, because a £7 million player who's fully fit should be getting the match day squads. Should be, in my opinion. If he's no fit, then understandable. Maybe Ange just thinks he can't play his system, he just doesn't trust him. I don't know. I heard a year ago that he was going to be off end of the season anyway. I heard that he's going to be away. Again, it's not through my sources, just through wee bits I've seen on media, friends, people and this, and when the Bellerin and Jam, they've all left. I think he's a bit unhappy. Bolingoli's going to be leaving. He's not got his fat. He's not got his pals. His family's meant to want to get back home, but he's saying to actually stay and fight for his place, etc. But if he's not going to be playing, understandable. If I'm not playing, I want to go. Doesn't matter how big a club I'm at. If I'm not playing, I want to go. I just think the timing when he said it, JP, I think it's a wee bit down on the club.
Absolutely. It's funny you said there that the manager not trusting him. If he didn't trust him before, he's certainly not going to trust him now, because Ange doesn't strike me as the type of man that would suffer fools, mate. And if that is legit, let's say that now, because I've only read a wee bit of that article. Was it an English media source or was it a French?
I think it says goal.
That sounds like it could be French then.
I can't remember who it was French, JP. I just seen it on Twitter, but I read
the possible thing is that if it's French, it could be mistranslated to an extent.
I did read the full article, and he basically says that he hopes that tomorrow he'll play 90 minutes. That's what he's saying. I hope I play tomorrow. I'm hoping that the coach will give me 90 minutes tomorrow. Okay. So I don't know if that's a partner shot to say I want 90 minutes and I'm off.
Yeah, I never seen that bit, right? And I've only read a wee bit about the fact that it would open a door for him to be looking elsewhere out the club.
But he did say,
Ange will know, first and foremost, Ange will know like that, mate. He's not the type of man that will, I don't think he'll enjoy having to now deal with that. Tomorrow's about a special day for the club, first and foremost, for regaining the title, and then obviously Bitton and Rogic going to be leaving. And now all that's now bringing that into the dressing room. Ange will not want that. It's a bit of negativity, right? And I think if I was one of the senior members in the squad, I'd be getting a hoodie big Chris and I'd be saying, what's that all about? What are you doing? Do you need to do that publicly now, or could you not have waited a week or two to do that? Or even went to yourself and spoke to Ange, because he is approachable.
Aye.
He's bent her backwards to help everybody this season. So why could you not have waited an extra couple of days to Saturday was all and done me and then done that? Because it's not just about you, big fella. There's a squad here. Hidaguchi's came all the way from Japan and he's not kicked a ball.
No say a word.
McCarthy's come in late in the season. He's not really getting games. They're all walking about with smiles on their faces, mate. They're not saying a word. Forrest has been in and out of the team. When he's been fit, he's not getting a game. He's on the bench, blah, blah, blah. He's not saying a word. He's signed a new deal. He wants to be there. He showed commitment. There's a time and a place trying to be doing stuff like that, and it's no run about when you're just about to be handed the league trophy, mate. I get he's frustrated and everything else, fine. Go and speak to the manager. You're not going to bite your head off. But what strikes me is the timing of it as well, Ryan. It's strange because a couple of days ago, Ange explained his reasons for Chris Julian not playing. He was asked the media, the pre-presser before the Dundee United game, and Ange was saying that it's very hard to bring in another. It's a position in the team that he doesn't like to rotate as much. Maybe prefer to have two centre backs, have them a partnership. If they're playing well, fine. Then if they get off form, then that's a different ballgame. The fact that they two have not been off form, they've not lost a league game together when they've played. We're unbeaten in 31 games. And then the big fella comes out and does that. I personally don't like that. I get players want to talk about how they feel. There's a way to do it, and that's not a way to do it, to go public with that. Because then it's kind of went above the manager's head, Brian. He's kind of undermined Ange a wee bit there, in my opinion, doing that. And like I says, mate, if you're saying that maybe Ange doesn't fancy him, or maybe he's not able to do this or do that because he's not part of the matchday squads, how does he then think he's not going to be part of the matchday squads for all that time? And it's the last day of the season, so Ange is going to give me 90 minutes. He might not even be fit enough to play 90 minutes, first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? He's just assuming that, and personally, because of that now, I'd be very stunned and shocked if I seen Chris Julian part of that team tomorrow. I really would.
Aye, mate, it's a bit of...
But he will be dealt with, because I think Ange he'll be pulling on my side.
Aye, mate. I think if I was a chance of him playing, mate, I think it might be squashed now. Unless Andrew spoke to him, and it has, like you said, it has been a mistranslation. We don't know these things because it can happen. But he obviously says that Everton is gay for the club. And listen, I'm a big believer. See if you're frustrated, go and say it, but say it to the manager first. And if it does go to media,
that's it. Don't do it away above his head and behind his back, because you lose trust in somebody when they do that. You
James McCarthy's hard played all season. He's no said boo. Ayeti, boo. No said nothing. Barkas, nothing. They've all said nothing. I think Ayeti's actually in terms of the use because he's not even done any videos that I've seen recently. Barkas I've not seen in videos recently. Guys like that I've not seen. So,
well, I've heard since Ben Dokes has left to go to Liverpool. Big Ayeti's on the YouTube kids now, mate. He's been watching that most of the time now. He's finished that and he's on his wee iPad because he's not getting a game, so he's like, I need something else to do. He's fed up. He's fed up playing Barkas at TT.
He's asking Gio, what type of response you get?
Aye. He was wanting to know what Argos it was. He clicked and collect for that Peppa Pig lunchbox.
No, I agree, mate. I think he's might be finished now at Celtic with that. Maybe from the comments. If he
possibly.
I hope no, mate. I do hate the guy, but maybe some players are like the wee white guy that's going to be coming to media now because that happened.
I think that's Ryan. Have we missed him? No.
So I think. Well,
but where I think we're trouble now, is Bitton's not going to be there now to fill in at centre back if something happens.
So if Julian does go, you'll need to buy two centre backs at least in the summer.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, that the main man will know that himself.
But obviously, we'll go to the game tomorrow, mate. As you say, it's going to be a celebration. Maybe a few tears with players leaving, and obviously the relief I won the title. Anybody that says that football doesn't make you great, I think they're fast right because it's going to be an emotional day, winning the trophy again. Hopefully we get a victory, but I don't think it cares. I don't think it cares as well, mate. I think obviously you want to win, and hopefully Rangers get obviously beaten and extend the league, but no matter the result, mate, don't care if we win the league with 1 point or fucking whatever, 4 points, whatever it is, the league's won and it's going to be a good celebration. Hopefully guys like your maybe McCarthy's and Idaguchi's, maybe in Barkas or Bain, whatever, hopefully guys maybe get some game time, but I'm a big believer on, doesn't matter, the game.
I'm going to hold you to this now, because if Barkas is announced in that team tomorrow, by the way, I bet you first on that chat, giving it, what's he doing?
No. Pump this egg, Barkas. Pump this egg. No, but I'm a big believer.
Either him or me, I'll be down at the door, chat my door.
But Baines like, it's either me or him.
Like my season ticket. It's either him or me.
No, but as much as I think it'd be nice to give these guys not a send off, but a bit more game time, and to be in the atmosphere. I'm a big believer when you play your strongest squad until you don't need to. So I think he will play. I think he will play a strong squad.
No, he did confirm today that there will be changes, but he said it will be strong. So
I think I'd like maybe. I'm not going to. Let's be fair. 9 times out of 10, JP trophy days are pumping for teams. Hearts has been at.
Well, 9 times it. Well, I was actually quite shocked that we beat Hearts 4-1 last Saturday. I really was, especially the way the game started.
He's won. I think under Lennon we beat Hearts 5-0. Hooper got half it, I'm sure, 4 goals.
Did he not score 5 in one of the games?
Trophy day is always a good day for a good scoring. Normally it is.
Yeah, well, was it the Motherwell game of last time under Ronnie? We beat them 7-0.
Aye.
In fact, Jack Aitchison made his debut that day and scored. He was only 16.
So it's got to be a celebration. Hopefully we get obviously the victory and we'll see obviously the title getting lifted and maybe a wee party in the Gallagher at Merton City, which, let's be fair, the Polish are going to try and fucking stop.
I don't know what I'm more looking forward to, the fact that we're going to lift the title or the fact that Snoop Dogg's coming.
Oh, mate. Fuck.
That's another talking point there, by the way.
Mate, it's going to be interesting as well, mate, if the Polish try and stop us, because they try to stop us doing the treble.
Yes.
Let's just see if they stop them, if something the unforgivable happens, if they do win next week, there's going to be George Square getting smashed again.
Yeah, and just before we obviously finish up, mate, I still back to gear out a wee mention and we talk about Polish. That was an absolute shambles of what happened at Tannadice the other night. I don't know if you've seen it, mate, on social media. Before the game, before the Dundee United game the other night, they just for some whatever reason decided to start parking vans and horses right in front of the Celtic fans walking up the street. They shut the street off and they started causing a cram and people were getting crushed because everybody for the back was all pushing forward. There was kids, there was women, there was the young boys, that's a shit. See, doing that, mate, that is an absolute shambles. And they're telling everybody at the front just to stop. They were getting absolutely crushed. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. I don't know where they come up with these ideas because they cause confrontation and animosity for themselves sometimes with a decision making.
Like you say, mate, it's 2022. Yeah, I get it right there. 2022. And
you sure now?
Wait, it'll be 2026 after my tip, right?
2020. He'll just be getting up as Forrest is ready to hang up his books.
Matt, is he getting a new contract again?
I'll be back to bed.
Aye. No, but this day and age, mate, and they can't police football games properly. It's no hard, mate. I'm not a police officer.
It's not even about policing it properly, Ryan. It's just the stupid, silly decision making they make in a moment where they just decide to, do you know what? We're just going to stop deed in front of all this mob here and see what happens. It's as if they do it for a laugh just because animosity among themselves. Now they'll say it's down to health and safety or try to make sure things are happening. That's that absolute nonsense. They just see the new fine well Celtic fans were turning up there with a chance to win the league. They were going to be partying, so they just wanted to cause it again. They done the same way as doing in the Gallagher, mate, when we all appeared for the treble. And then they stopped the bus coming up because they said it was a health and safety risk. A health and safety risk with the rain fans. I was like, I even says to the constable that came up to us and says, right, he's on it to move on. I said, why? And he explained it to him and I says, a health and safety risk with your fans? Are you nuts? Says the only health and safety risk here's you guys.
It's bonkers.
Because you're causing this animosity. But yet, a certain mob in Glasgow are allowed to smash up the city twice in the space of 6-7 weeks between one another. They're allowed to break benches, punch lights out of one another, smash up shop windows, urinate all outdoors and smashing bottles. And by the way, that was just before they left the house.
Barry, the best is you can't even drink in Glasgow, but yet it's good for him there.
No, exactly. So, and then the idiotic stuff you seen the next day, and there was news channels saying that Rangers fans were actually back at George Square at 8 o'clock in the morning, actually tidying up their own mess.
The fucking council.
Are you having a laugh, man? Then they were allowed to march through the city, from across the water, right through to, again, right into the town. They were allowed to stand and congregate on the bridge at the River Clyde and light up flares, and as I say, seems to be a set of rules for one and a set of rules for the others.
Yep, mate.
That's
it's always
that's it. Well, that's the country we live in, mate.
as he says, mate, unrestricted view. You say things that are unrestricted, and that's unrestricted because it doesn't get highlighted, mate, and it's got to be highlighted.
Right, and the thing is, we're not making any of this up.
Oh,
That's the thing as well. None of what we're saying is made up. It's things that you can see with the eye, with the naked eye. You can see it happening in front of you. I only say what I see, mate. It's like real catchphrase.
But people tend to just turn a blind eye at it. So,
well, a lot of people don't want to say what need to be said, mate. And a lot of people don't want to talk about things that you know, for whatever reason. I don't know. But I'm not saying anything that you're breaking the law.
No.
I'm just saying what I see, and that's it. And I'll give it a mention because I think it's worth being noted. Because I know there was a lot of your support on, especially Twitter and stuff. A lot of people weren't happy. There was females. It was, as I said, there was kids. It was a scary moment, mate. Apparently, there was a couple of like milliseconds there where kids were getting frightened, mate, because of grown-ass men and women were actually pushing up against them and starting to squash them a wee bit. And I can only imagine being in among that yourself, mate. That could be quite daunting, especially if you're just say for talking to you were claustrophobic and you need a wee bit of space round about you. Somebody's right there, mate, in your face. It must be a horrendous feeling.
See what you're saying there. Obviously, that happened, right? See, when obviously they've cut it all off now, but see, after the games, you could be able to walk past that bit at the end of the stadium. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, on the Jane Field Street.
Aye. That was full. That was scary. I was all a wee guy. Somebody's walking through that with my dad and all that. That's fucking scary.
Aye, it's daunting. It's an intimidating experience, mate, especially with grown-ass men that are all drinking and booze and they're all singing, and then you could get the ones that are boisterous and they're not just walking through it, they're bouncing through it and jumping through it, all that lateral movement.
Singing all that, I know.
It can be quite daunting, mate, and I've noticed recently, mate, I don't know, there's a lot more kids now going to the games. Now, I don't know whether that's down to the charity foundations that we've got, and by the way, the job they're doing is remarkable as well.
That's amazing.
Totally amazing. The work that goes on behind the scenes, again, that people don't get to see is just phenomenal. Again, they're miracle workers, these guys. But the things that you're seeing now, there's actually rooms in Celtic Park now. They're called sensory rooms, mate, for kids with disabilities and things that, you know, they're making Celtic more accessible for everybody now. It's not just a generalisation about a certain type of fan or this, that, or the next thing. They're now, and I think it's absolutely amazing. Now, I don't know what other clubs they're at, and I'm not partial to that. I just know about us. And again, it's frightening. And it's, again, the guys that are working behind the scenes, and even myself taking part of that, they're just miracle workers. And they're making wee kids, even kids the same age as like my wee boy and upwards, they're making their dreams come true, mate. I've seen videos of kids recently walking out the pathway out into where the stairs are out into the stadium, and you just see their wee faces lighting up, Brian. It's the first time they've been to Celtic Park. I remember that as a young boy, mate, and I remember my feeling of walking into Celtic Park. I was a wee bit scared as much as I was happy.
I still get that feeling. It's just one, like I say to you, it's one of the, it's a special place, mate.
Yes. You were talking tomorrow about the emotion. There's already going to be an emotion because of the fact that what we went through last season to now getting what we've got to the line. And obviously, not just that. And again, mate, it's not been mentioned enough for me. We've won a domestic double.
Yep.
It's not just we've won the league. We've won a domestic double here. We were a ball here away from winning a treble.
Unbeaten in 30 odd games.
Unbeaten in 31 games. So I know you says earlier on, if Wednesday night goes the way a lot of you don't want it to go, it's going to overshadow. No for me, because I will still hammer home on this, and talking to you guys and talking to people that I know, I will still hammer home of what this season actually, what we've done.
But for me and you, it's not going to overshadow. But you know what it's fucking Scottish.
Oh, but we know the media circus and stuff. They'll try and over. But Andrew just sit back, cigar. He'll laugh at that, mate. And as I say, after Saturday, it's saying flip flops on, beach balls out, kangaroo hats on, but away we go. And as far as I'm like to believe, it's been rumoured that Andy and his family are going back to Australia to visit some family and friends I've not seen for quite a long. Because you've got to remember as well, Ryan, they've not stopped, mate. They've came from Japan. He's went for a job to mid-season through a job to come right to us. The same as Kyogo and Maeda, and they haven't stopped. You know what I mean? These guys have came for, and that's remarkable itself, right? You know, to have that engine and energy and drive and the commitment Ange's gave us. And at the beginning, Ryan, he asked for nothing back, mate. He came and he knew what task he had to hand. And then you start to see his interviews, and you start to hear about him having posters of Kenny Dalglish up in his wall. He was a boy and it was his dad that had him well drilled about teams that are big teams in the world, and Celtic was always one of them, and then obviously dressing rooms he'd played in, and guys from Scotland were there in Australia at the time, and it was big man and wee man and how you doing, mate, and blah blah blah. And these guys were all Celtic fans, so it's not like he's came, but the media treated him, mate, that he was an alien. Right away, they spoke to him like he was an absolute alien, as if he had never been run about football before. And he even says that to him. He says, I don't know what you're referring to. In his first presser, the guy says, he said, I can't even remember word for word what it was he said, but Andy's saying, I don't know why you've said that or what you're referring to. If you think I've worked at a lesser level, or he says, I managed a World Cup, mate. And that began that word, mate, that he says quite a lot after everything he says. He says, and then I've started winning things, and then when we do our research, you're then taking it back with CV, right? And now you're going like that yourself. We were going for Eddie Howe. Oh, okay, Eddie would have been successful. I don't have any doubts in it. But put Eddie's CV in front of yourself, put Andrew's CV in front of yourself, and then say, right, pick a manager between them. Who are you picking? You're going to pick Ange Postecoglou all day long. Because he's got 20-odd years now in the game. 26, 7 years managerial experience. And he's managed against teams like the Bielsa's Chile team, and he's won the Australia Asia Cup. I mean, he's like Australia's Guardiola. That's what he's like earlier. He's like, and that's what this whole thing in November's that we're going to be going on as well. That's what that's all about as well, as going there to celebrate Angie's homecoming. And that's why a certain team decided to pull out. I think it was a couple of reasons yet enough. I think they realised that EasyJet don't fly to Australia as well, mate. So they knew that I don't think they'd enough changes to get them there, mate, to be honest with you. And they ran out of milk tokens, I think, to make up the rest of the journey. Because I think they were only getting so far, and then they were going to have to start hiring canoes and all that. And
Gio was using because it was Melty's cheese and ham sandwiches.
Yeah, and they know it's bad enough they're trying to trust Tavernier to keep Rangers at a close at the back. Imagine him rowing a boat for you. Oh my goodness, man.
No, so definitely, man. He's done an amazing job, mate. It's something that again we'll do a end of the season review, obviously, and talk about it. But it's been amazing, mate. The guy he's brought out our club back in a sense. Again, obviously the morning. Big day of the club, trophy day. It's going to be emotional, as you say, mate. It's going to be amazing. Just hopefully we get the win it to also top it off. Could be the last time we see Jota and Vickers. Hopefully not. Obviously the talks are ongoing. Me personally, I think they're done.
Cheers, mate. That's the Wayne's greeting now.
Aye. But again, we can only go by what happens, and hopefully this is the last time we see these guys. So again, the guys who are going tomorrow, take in these guys tomorrow, i.e. Jota, Vickers, take in these quality players because they might no be here next year. So
yes,
man, for one last time, your Rogic's, take them in because they might not be here next year. But hopefully we do. Obviously,
well, we know Rogic and Bitton will definitely not be here next year. So I take them in definitely. But look, I would just, in my opinion, I would just soak up the day and take in the experience of the day because these days only come around every 10 out of 11 years.
We'll soak it in the new for next year.
Aye, so just soak it in because these things don't come around often. They only come around every 10 out of 11 years. But that's phenomenal. That's just incredible. Aye, definitely. But no, just soak in everything you can, especially if you're early your kids, because they're the next sort of generation that's coming through to see the club going into a new era as well. So that's important, and as I say, and that's partly why they two are moving on as well, because the club under Ange, they're moving into a sort of new era. And there's a lot of things happening in the background. We're seeing like Matt Lowell's coming in now, and things are rapidly going to start changing, mate. And I mean, for the better, no for hesitation purposes or like negatively against us. Things are going to happen to the elite level, and I think it's only going to get better. I think next season we get into phase 2. Personally, I think next season's going to be a lot better for us, Ryan, because we'll then have a settled side, and the guys that are coming into bed in aren't they all brand new players? They will be brand new players, but you're no then coming into a team full of brand new players. You're coming into a team that's played together for a year, and they're going into the Champions League together as champions. So that'll be a lot better and different as well.
Oh, 100%, mate. Like you say, about obviously Lowell came in. People obviously going to talk about him because he's that, etc. But he's working at an elite level, Man City, and he's very highly regarded. So you've got to take that. You've got to take what he's done to earn. Hopefully, he does the same here, like you say. So kind of his atmosphere. Considering obviously through COVID, they'll not be able to see see players, being in the stadiums. The more will be emotional. Lift the trophy. And then go, like you say, get the flip-flops out, enjoy a few weeks away, recharge, and kick on again in a few months' time.
Incredible that we don't start back to the 29th of June.
Like you say, mate, guys will get a good break.
6 weeks holiday, I think they're getting.
Guys will get a good break. We'll get a wee bit of a break to recharge the batteries as fans and the emotion, take it all in, soak it back. But again, JP, like you say, just enjoy the moment tomorrow and we kick on again next year. But again, hail, mate, and take care, and thanks for joining me tonight.
Hail, Ryan. Cheers, mate. Thank you.